Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today our group will be presenting about legal regulation on halal cosmetic. This is our fellow group member. This is the content of our presentation today. The introduction. According to the United Nations, there will be a 26.4%, which is 22 billion, rise to an estimated 8.3 billion in the world's Muslim population by 2030, which means that the demand for halal goods will increase. There is an increased demand for halal cosmetic among the Muslim community. According to the Malaysian Halal Cosmetic Association, the business is valued at roughly USD 800 million and is growing at 24% each year. Malaysian halal cosmetic items were exported for a total of around 464.45 million in 2013, with the majority of the product being sent to countries which is the United States, the Middle East, China, Asian, European, and among other places.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Azudin Khan and I will be explaining about the development of halal cosmetics. So this is the first literature review and the topic is Malaysian cosmetics market, current and future prospect. So for the author is Azmi Hasali and Al Tamimi and SK. So the objectives of this article is first to study the new era of halal cosmetics in Malaysia, and secondly is to evaluate how halal cosmetics can change the world. And the findings for these articles is first, Malaysian customers are swayed by market's promotions and seek for cosmetics that are on sale, particularly for high-end items. And then why we chose halal cosmetics is because it's much more safer. So the vast number of brand cosmetics competes with new goods and other items that may be found in pharmacies, beauty stores and promotional stores. And thirdly, Malaysia has become the worldwide halal hub in the halal cosmetic industry. And that's all for the development of halal cosmetics. For the second literature review is the process, procedure and standard applied in halal cosmetics industry in Malaysia. So the topic is a review of cosmetics and personal care products, halal's perspective and detection of ingredient. The authors are Hashim and Mat Hashim. So the objectives of this article is to know about procedures to get halal cosmetics. And secondly, to understand the importance of cleanliness to halal cosmetics. And thirdly, is to know the roles of Jakim in halal cosmetics. So in the findings, we found that halal refers to permissible activities, whereas haram refers to those that are banned, unallowed. Symbols of cleanliness, safety and high quality, halal items must be offered evidence to support their claims and deliver on their promises. In Malaysia, cosmetics must meet local requirement and quality control requirements. Good manufacturing practices, GMP and public health regulation mandate that production can be carried out in sanitary settings. Islam prohibits the use of non-halal cosmetics and personal hygiene items. And cosmetics doesn't use najis for the halal industry. Thank you very much.
Literature number 3, which is the governance of legal regulation on halal cosmetic in Malaysia. The article that I chose is the jurisdiction and prosecution of halal related matters in Malaysia, challenge and prospect. The authors of the article is Cik Rosmati Cik Muhammad Zain and her fellow researcher. Objective of this article is to emphasize the administration of halal-related matters in Malaysia, to accentuate the legal issues relating to halal issues in Malaysia. The finding that I get in this article is, firstly, Malaysian government govern the halal-related matters in Malaysia. Secondly, JAKIM, JAIN, MAIN, HDC, MDTCC, MOH and MITI bear great duty to ensure halal-related concerns in Malaysia are managed to the correct standard. The definition of halal by JAKIM, which is allowed and permissible. However, others regulatory bodies that govern the halal industry on cosmetics, such as National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency (NPRA), was not explained or further discussed in this paper.
Okay, for the literature review number 4, the halal cosmetic understanding with the manufacturers. The title of this paper is Study on Halal Cosmetic Awareness among Malaysian Cosmetic Manufacturers. The authors for this paper, Masra Mustafa and her fellow researcher. For the objective of this paper, to conduct an exploratory investigation on the awareness of halal certification process among cosmetic manufacturers. For the findings of this paper, the awareness to purchase product based on halal ingredients is increasing due to the market of UAE companies. Therefore, there is a considerable market for halal cosmetic. Most manufacturers for cosmetic and other consumer goods are non-Muslim. Since the Muslim population is 20% globally, consumers began pressuring the manufacturers to listen to their concern and fulfill their growing demand for a product with Sharia requirements. The study led to measure the manufacturers' awareness on halal certification even though they are non-Muslim. There were 53 companies involved to answer the questionnaire regarding their awareness of halal certification and halal certification process. The result obtained from the survey was that 11 companies did not obtain halal certification for their cosmetic product. The survey results show the manufacturers have a high level of awareness for halal certification and halal certification process. Okay, next, literature review number 5. The purchasing factor of halal cosmetic in Malaysia. The title of this paper, The Mainstream Cosmetic Industry in Malaysia. The authors, Azmi Asali and his fellow researcher. For the objective of this paper, first, to develop customer loyalty towards their halal cosmetic products. Second, to analyze millennial generation purchase behavior on halal cosmetic products. Finding for this paper, due to the overwhelming acceptance from consumers regarding halal cosmetics, manufacturers are pleased with the demand for halal cosmetic. Research, research from this paper concluded that the cosmetic market is currently emerging in Malaysia due to the transformation of customer views regarding cosmetic usage. Meanwhile, the studies conducted by Haryana measure and identify purchase behavior that leads Muslim millennials to purchase halal cosmetic products. Religion has the most significant influence on the purchase of halal cosmetic since Muslims prioritize religion on choosing cosmetics. This can be linked to religious belief as Muslims desire to utilize cosmetics that are not just halal but also free of elements that could harm their body such as chemical substance. Therefore, Swedi Adullah mentioned that Muslim ladies of the millennial generation who have a strong religious belief will seek halal cosmetic as this generation is close to the technology. In conclusion, Muslim consumers' awareness of halal products has recently expanded to include non-food items other than the increase of the Muslim population. Okay, next, lastly, literature review number 6. Malaysia, current and future prospect of halal cosmetic. Title of this paper, Malaysian cosmetic market, current and future prospect. Authors of this paper, Ahmad Salman and his fellow researcher. Objective of this paper, first, to identify Malaysia market trend which will attract country Muslim consumers. Second, to analyze mentioned customer interest in imaging of halal cosmetic. Finding of this paper, Muslims represent about 20 until 25% of the planet population with over 2 billion Muslims living in 112 nations. Since more than 50% of the population is Muslim, Malaysia is a country with a high Muslim population, where half of the population is Islam. Therefore, the demand for halal goods is quite high among the consumers. With regards to the demand in halal cosmetic, and individual attitude contributes to the change according to the population, where the woman put a high priority on self-care, whereby career women with more significant salaries are more likely to purchase high-end personal grooming items, and they do not mind to spend more for products with the high quality, especially from top brand international, in order to enhance their appearance. Based on Malaysia Statistics Agency, overall spending on cosmetic and toiletries in 2013 was over $407 million. Among the types of cosmetic involved are eye cosmetic, lip makeup, manicure, and pedicure. Due to the positive response from neighbors and foreign countries, Malaysia is able to become a developed country in exporting and importing halal cosmetic on par with other developed countries.
Objective and methodology. The objective. First one is to study halal requirement for halal cosmetic based on Malaysian standard. Secondly, to identify needs regarding halal cosmetic in Malaysia and others country. And thirdly is to understand the compliance and governance of the legal regulation on halal cosmetic. For the methodology, first one is the qualitative method was applied in the study. Secondly, the primary source of data for the study is library research. And the third one is the online libraries, peer-reviewed papers and articles related to the legal regulation on halal cosmetic are included in the study.
And I will be presenting the halal requirement for cosmetic based on Malaysian standard. Halal requirement for cosmetic based on Malaysian standard. It's well known that halal cosmetics are catching on worldwide, particularly in Malaysia. Consequently, the state of the halal cosmetic industry in Malaysia concerns JAKIM in particular. Therefore, we must follow the manual procedures and standards that have been developed to standardize the necessities of applying halal certification to each cosmetic factory intending to make halal product. Thus, what is the standard for certifying halal cosmetics and methods and procedures? Malaysian Standard MS 2634 2019. Malaysian Standards defines cosmetics as a substance or training intended to be applied to the various external components of the human body, which includes the epidermis, hair system, nails, lips, and outside genital organs, or the animal and the mucous membranes of the oral hollow space, with the sole or primary purpose of cleaning, perfuming, transforming their appearance, correcting frame odors, protecting them, or preserving them clean. Cosmetics containing JAKIM approved ingredients are halal. According to Sharia law and fatwa, a few examples not including any portion of commemorating an animal banned by Sharia law and fatwa containing animals not always killed following Sharia law. Furthermore, it must not involve najis, any part of a person or its products that isn't permitted by Sharia law and fatwa, which is harmful or hazardous to health because many of these components may cause harm to the customer and can lead to death. According to Sharia regulations, najis based on Malaysia standards are considered impure because they include animals like dogs and pigs and their descendants, and halal cosmetics that have been infected by objects that may be non-halal and have the direct contact with non-halal. PHM 2020. All halal manufacturing schemes used MPPHM 2020 as one of the compliance prerequisites. According to Malaysian Halal Certificates Procedure Manual Domestic 2020, the halal certification is most basic valid for 3 years and must be renewed after that. Okay, this is a combination of the following factors must be used to meet the demands of Muslim people and use MHMS effectively. First, large and medium industries. There must be at least 2 Muslim employees, Malaysian citizen, and permanent employees working at any one time in the processing area. Each section of premises must have a designated halal executive. The establishment must have an eternal halal committee in place based on the MHMS 2020 manual. Each premises department with special operations management and HAS must be developed and implemented. And for small industries, only Malaysian nationals and a permanent employee should be employed at the processing facility. At least 1 Muslim Malaysian citizen, a permanent employee, should be employed at all times. The establishment must have a halal supervisor, and IHCS should be developed and implemented under the MHMS 2020 manual. And for micro industry, employees who are Malaysian nationals and permanent employees are required to work in the processing area for the duration of operation or shift. IHCS should be developed and implemented following the MHMS 2020 manual. That is all for the MPBHM 2020.
The compliance and governance of the legal regulation on halal cosmetic in Malaysia. Firstly, the halal cosmetic products are growing in popularity and demand among the world's 2.4 billion Muslim consumers. In 2003, the Malaysian manufacturing sector, which is cosmetic and toiletry business, generate around RM 13 billion and continue to expand at rate 13 per annum. The Article 3(1) of Malaysia Federal Constitution is a reflection of the importance of a regulatory bodies that control and govern the halal cosmetic industry to ensure that Muslims in Malaysia have access to and are provided adequately with halal products. Since 1974, the Research Centre of Islamic Affairs Division of the Prime Minister Office began to issuing halal certificate for products that match the halal standard. Adhering to the Sharia imposition of halal has been prioritized in Malaysia. The Control of Drug and Cosmetic Regulation (CDCR) 1984, issued under Sale of Drug Act 1952, is used to regulate the cosmetic product in Malaysia. The primary standard used in halal cosmetic industry is MS 2634 2019 Malaysian Standard Halal Cosmetic General Requirement First Revision, which specifies all the requirements of halal cosmetic manufacturers in Malaysia must meet. The Department of Standard Malaysia (DSM) is responsible for publishing the standard. Numerous agencies are assisting in developing the standard, which is we refer as the Working Group of Halal Cosmetic. The agency that collaborate on the development of this standard including JAKIM, DSM, MOH, NPRA, the Mufti of Federal Territory, Federation Malaysian Manufacturer, the Malaysian Cosmetic and Toiletry Industry Group, and several other government and non-government organizations and institutions. Department of Islamic Development Malaysia, JAKIM. JAKIM is the body that coordinates halal certification operation and develop detailed guidelines for halal products, including method of examining, validating, and applying for halal certificate, as well as approval, condition, inspection, and enforcement. KPDNHEP has delegated authority over halal matters to JAKIM and MAIN in each state in Malaysia, excluding federal territories, as the recognized bodies for halal certification in Malaysia. In terms of international halal issue, JAKIM is also responsible for authorizing products from foreign nations that have received halal certification from one of the foreign halal certification bodies, FHCB, recognized by JAKIM. A comprehensive system known as Halal Assurance System was implemented in July 2013. Standard that introduced by JAKIM to be followed by halal cosmetic industry is MS 2200 2008, Guidelines for control of cosmetic product in Malaysia, National Pharmaceutical Control Bureau, decision of the National Fatwa Council for Islamic Affairs or Fatwa decree by the state, guidelines on cosmetic good manufacturing practice, National Pharmaceutical Control Bureau, and other applicable guidelines and regulation. JAKIM will certify and approve any company that registered its product with NPRA and has applied for Halal certification. Only cosmetic goods that have been registered with JAKIM will be eligible to apply for and receive Halal certification from JAKIM. After the application is granted, JAKIM will conduct continuous survey, inspection, and enforcement to ensure that the manufacturers continue to compliance. National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency (NPRA). This agency is involved in the halal cosmetic industry. It was established in October 1978 to oversee the pharmacy and supply program quality control activities with primary objective of implementing pharmaceutical product quality control. They have broadened their vision, mission, and ambition through time to meet the industry need. Presently, it aims to be a globally recognized regulating authority for pharmaceutical and cosmetic, with the objective is to safeguard the nation's health via clinical excellence and effective regulatory oversight of medical product and cosmetic. The significant role of NPRA is ensuring that all cosmetic goods offered in the market are safe and of the highest quality. They develop guidelines for control of cosmetic product in Malaysia to accomplish this goal as guidelines for Malaysian cosmetic manufacturers. They have also created a scheme for drug registration and cosmetic notification based on technical data, laboratory analysis, study and findings acquired from international organizations. Furthermore, all cosmetic items sold in Malaysia must be registered with NPRA. Post-market surveillance (PMS) activities taken by the NPRA continued to monitor products on the market after they were registered or notified. Additionally, NPRA resolved public complaints against registered and alerted products to proactive surveillance. Each complaint will be investigated and the complaint informed of the outcome. Products that violate labeling, quality, or safety requirement will be recalled.
Next, requirement regarding halal cosmetic in Malaysia. Okay, first, guideline for control of cosmetic products in Malaysia. First, cosmetic notification. The cosmetic notification holder (CNH) is the sole person responsible for posting the beauty notice, which is the next step in the utility approach to a cosmetic notification. Beauty products must be registered with the Department of Pharmaceutical Service (DPS) before being manufactured or sold. The NPRA accepts files and substance in Bahasa Malaysia and English. However, translation from other language should be allowed or encouraged, and all the facts given to NPRA are private, even they are not marked. For the notification process, there is a fee of 50 ringgit for each cosmetic products to be included in the notification process, and the same amount is charged for each cosmetic products to be included in the renewal process at 50 ringgit. Payments paid after the application has been submitted, on the other hand, will not be refunded under any circumstance. The notification of the cosmetic products is valid for a maximum of 2 years, and the renewal must be complete at least 1 month before the notification expiration date. During the period of manufacture or importation of the product, CNH may manufacture or import the beauty product after receiving approval from the DPS contained within the notification note and immediately following NPRA confirmation of payment. CNH may also generate the notification note from the Quest gadget if all notification requirements are met. The notification range is unusual and exact for every product and its version, such as NOT, YYMMX until K, where Y represent the year, M represent the month, X represent the product serial range as shown below. Okay, next, regulatory requirement. Certification notification holder (CNH) must know and ensure the compliance of the standard is product particulars. The cosmetic product shall have the product name, the type of the product, intended use, and product presentation. Second, the name and address of the manufacturer and assemblers must be included. Name, address, and valid contact number and email address of the CNH. The person who will represent the company of CNH, which consists of a legitimate contact number to make the process easier if there any emergency. Fourth, must be fulfill the list of product ingredients such as declare percentage of the restricted ingredient declaration letter which is applicable. Lastly, it is required to put labels of the product to ensure any informative is declared on the product labels. For product recall, if there is happen to be product recall, the decision for recollect or recall of a product will be made. If product recall occur, product sampling will be done. It might be accomplished in which the necessities for the laboratory trying out fulfill the standards that all the samples should be from the equal manufacturing batch. It must come from unopened packaging or box and not be able to be eliminated from the box or packaging. The pattern of a beauty product pattern should incorporate at least 4 units or containers with the complete content material of at least 40 gram or 40 milliliter. The halal emblem can be used optionally on a notified beauty product for each home and global markets. Okay, next. Second, guideline for cosmetic good manufacturing practice. Before an operation begins, the packaging line should be verified for clearance by means clean and functional equipment is required, where the preceding packaging operations, materials, and products should have been removed. For sanitation and hygiene of personnel, the workers need to practice cleanliness and hygiene to avoid contamination during production. Hygiene and sanitation also including premise, equipment, or apparatus being used and production materials and containers where all of this should be clean and away from any contamination. For manufacturing, for a premise, appropriate staff washing and adequately ventilated lavatory centers must be given and segregated from the producing area during the manufacturing process. In addition, for manufacturing, wet cleaning methods and vacuum are preferred to be applied. For the storage of employees, clothing and personal items, a suitable local facility should be provided at an appropriate location. For equipment and apparatus, all the equipment and utensils must be in a clean state. During labeling and packaging activities, random samples should be taken and verified, and to avoid confusion, each labeling and packaging line should be specified. The finished products that are ready to be delivered will be approved by quality control before being released. Quality control laws are vital in manufacturing because the QC will inspect and ensure the products meet all the requirements of the standard operating procedure. Finally, storage areas need to be in an adequate capacity to permit beginning and packaging materials, intermediates, bulk and finished merchandise, gadgets in quarantine, and release, reject, return, or recall merchandise be saved in suitable quantities. In addition, to ensure the proper storage conditions, storage rooms need to be built or altered. Okay. Next, number 3. Control of Drugs and Cosmetic Regulation 1984. First standard, Controls of Drugs and Cosmetic Regulation (CDCR) under the Sale of Drugs Act 1952 has been approved and enforced since 1984. Under the CDCR 1984, the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency (NPRA) is responsible for protecting the public from health hazard and fraud in the preparation, sales of the drug and cosmetic use, and matters related to that. Second, requirements. This regulation aims to inform cosmetic manufacturer regarding the requirement to obtain a manufacturing license to conduct manufacturing activity of notified cosmetic. To extend the scope of the manufacturing license under CDCR 1984 to include cosmetic manufacturers. This regulation states cosmetic manufacturer need to regulate all ingredient, stability, and quality of the finished registered goods or cosmetic in conformity with this act. The controls of drugs and cosmetic regulation mainly focus on the sale of drugs and the registration of cosmetic products, activities, and manufacturers. This regulation provides guidelines for license application, and prohibition to manufacture, sell, supply, import, or process cosmetic. Third clause. There is three clauses that applies to cosmetic law. First, Regulation 12, license. Second, Clause 13, application for license. 1,000 ringgit in processing fees for application for manufacturer license and 500 ringgit in processing fees for applications for any other types of license may be required by the Director of Pharmaceutical Service. The application in either instance must accompany it. Third clause 18A. Prohibition to manufacture, sell, supply, import or process cosmetic. Prohibition against the manufacturer, sell, supply, importation, possession and administration as regulated that any person is not allowed to sell or manufacture any product that is not registered and does not have a legal license issued under these regulations. Next, requirement regarding halal cosmetic in other countries. Okay, first requirement regarding halal cosmetic in United Arab Emirates (UAE). First standard. The standard was prepared by the UAE Technical Committee on Halal Cosmetic Issues and accepted by the European Standards and Metrology Agency (ESMA). The primary goal of issuing this standard is to encourage a sustainable process for the production and consumption of halal cosmetic by the implementation the following rules. First, promote the use of ingredients derived from halal source. Secondly, it employs halal processing and manufacturing practice that are hygienic and appropriate for human health and safety and promotes the use of ingredients derived from halal source. Second requirement. These requirements, which are based on Islamic Sharia, must be met by the halal cosmetic industry during every stage of the cosmetic supply chain, which includes the following steps: receiving, preparation, processing, storage, packaging, and labeling, controlling, handling, transportation, and lastly, distribution. Achieving compliance with this standard is possible for all cosmetic categories listed in the UAE GSO 1943. As well as for all sorts of organization regardless of their size or complexity. For the Clause 4, principle of halal cosmetic consists of four aspects: halal, najis, mutanajis, and safety quality. Clause 5, common requirements. For this requirement, the difference from Malaysia standard is in Clause 5.3. There needs the evidence of safety. It is necessary to present test reports or relevant documents to demonstrate compliance. If a suitable testing method is used, test result must be submitted. Okay. Second, requirements regarding halal cosmetic in Brunei Darussalam. First, standard. The Brunei Darussalam guidelines for manufacturing and handling of halal cosmetic product was prepared by the Technical Committee on the Development of National Standards and or guidelines for halal cosmetic products under the authority of the Religious Council Brunei Darussalam. Second, requirements. Halal cosmetic production Brunei covered by the regulation are the following: obtaining raw materials, manufacturing, packaging, transporting, and storing. First, halal cosmetic goods should be manufactured and packaged in a manner that adheres to the Islamic law of taqwa. Second, for halal cosmetic items, use the word halal in line with hukum syara on certification and labeling. Third clause. Clause 3.3. Purchasing of starting materials, Religious Council Brunei Darussalam. In accordance with hukum syara, the manufacturer is responsible for ensuring that the starting materials obtained are halal. The manufacturer must guarantee that the certification or documentation of the halal starting materials acquired is readily accessible for inspection. Clause 3.5. Manufacturing, packaging, and handling. All starting materials and finished products should be made and handled in accordance with the applicable criteria that have been established. Clause 3.7. Labeling. Each product must be clearly marked legibly and indelible, or a label must be affixed to the packaging with the information needed by the Brunei Darussalam Medicines Control Authority, and this information must be visible. Okay. Third, Asian Guideline for Cosmetic Good Manufacturing Practice. The Good Manufacturing Practice Guidelines (GMP) guidelines have been developed to help the cosmetic sector in complying with the standards of the Asian Cosmetic Directive. Good manufacturing practice rules for cosmetics have the goal of ensuring that goods are consistently created and regulated to the desired quality levels. In terms of production and quality control, it is concerned with all components of the process. A broad guideline for manufacturers to develop in quality management system and process that provide in this document, which is referred to as good manufacturing practice. These standards aim to achieve the important goal in any situation, namely that the finished goods fulfill the quality requirements relevant to their intended use in order to ensure the health and benefit of the user.
Conclusion. In summary, there is an urgent need to formulate and apply worldwide halal standard, including cosmetics. The rising demands for halal products result from current Muslim generations, high levels of education, well-paying work, and awareness of the component and content of wide range of products. The next generation of Muslims is becoming more educated and conscious, allowing many Muslims to buy halal things made with halal products and services. This explains why halal cosmetics are now being accepted in non-Muslim markets, as they are safe, natural, and hygienic. Halal cosmetics is a broad term that refers to all aspects of the management system. All of these must be done following Malaysian halal guidelines processes. That is all from us. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.